taking accountability for what I did in the tournament, and really, truthfully, I don't think it's my fault though, because we're the victims here. We were attacked by Kingsman because Zaza wouldn't switch off of Widow, but she was doing fine. She was being targeted by Venom and Spider-Man the whole time, and even though Kingsman was 15-0 and Zaza was 0-5.
Luciyasa just keeps digging herself deeper, and every new clip that pops up makes it worse. It started when she accused another creator, Anti-Grow, of being some kind of Charlie Kirk supporter. She pushed it like he was a full-blown political extremist, which is a wild label to throw on someone in a public creator space where audiences are emotional, loud, and always ready to jump somebody online. That kind of accusation doesn't just sit there. It spreads fast, and once it's out, people start moving different towards you whether it's true or not. She twisted a basic statement about political violence into this dramatic storyline that made him look like some hardcore partisan just to stir things up. She went around telling people he posted something like, "Pray for Charlie Kirk," framing it like he was waving a political flag. But when he actually checked his own post, the only thing he had said was that cheering for someone's assassination was wrong. That's it. No campaign speech, no endorsements, just saying maybe we shouldn't celebrate people getting killed over politics. That's a basic human take, not some secret allegiance. Now imagine getting labeled an extremist for saying, "Don't hurt people online." That's where we're at. And instead of stepping back and saying maybe she pushed it too far, she doubled down. Of course she did. This is internet drama culture. Nobody wants to admit they jumped the gun. Admitting fault online feels like handing your critics a trophy, so people dig in even harder. So Anti-Grow makes a video clearing his name because viewers are flooding his streams accusing him of stuff he never even said. He had to defend himself over something that started as a misrepresentation. Then suddenly Luciyasa slides into his DMs saying, "Hey, I don't want any bad blood. Let's talk privately, human to human." Now it's mature, now it's calm, now it's grown energy. Except it wasn't. The second he started explaining his side, she stopped replying. No follow-up, no clarification, no apology, just silence. She baited him into thinking there would be an actual conversation, then disappeared when it came time to take accountability. That human-to-human moment lasted about as long as a buffering stream on bad Wi-Fi. It feels less like miscommunication and more like calculated chaos. And when you see moves like that, it really makes you question how much of this is about truth and how much is just about control of the narrative. She really set up that whole mature conversation just to look calm and reasonable in screenshots, then disappeared the second accountability entered the chat. It wasn't about resolving anything. It was about optics. The moment things got real and receipts started coming out, she went quiet. And somehow, it still got stranger. During all of this, she accused him of making response videos just for TikTok revenue. Like defending yourself after being publicly misrepresented is some master cash grab strategy, right? Because obviously someone wakes up thinking, you know what would boost my brand today? Getting falsely labeled, dragged across platforms, and spending days clearing my name. That's not a business plan. That's damage control. Nobody chooses that stress for pocket change and a few views. Then he drops another detail that changes the whole angle. He was actually invited to the tournament. He didn't get excluded. He declined the invitation himself. Not because he wasn't qualified, not because he was scared. He turned it down because he already knew people he had ongoing issues with would be there. And he didn't want drama exploding in real life. That says a lot. Someone avoiding a big opportunity just to keep peace is not someone hungry for chaos or attention. That's someone protecting their space.
Do it at wrong times, I do admit, but in regards to me telling him to shut the fuck up, that is the only thing I think I am 100% justified in.
The situation I'm going to briefly go over. Luciyasa was making a lot of claims about me to her viewers, saying that I had said things about the Charlie Kirk incident and posted videos and stuff like that. Basically things that I just had never said. She was telling her viewers that she no longer wanted to associate with me on behalf. Show you the entirety of all DMs to Luciyasa and from Luciyasa. So as you can see, I was literally just never responded to. To this day, I've still never been responded to. So this is what preceded the threats from.
And then Cece steps in. She runs the Discord server, so naturally you'd expect mediator energy, neutral stance, checking screenshots, asking who said what, trying to cool everything down. Instead, she flips it and basically tells him he's the problem now, because his response videos reached more people than the original claims. Since when does having a bigger reach automatically make you guilty? That logic feels backwards. So let's line it up clearly. A public accusation gets thrown out. People swarm him with harassment. He responds publicly with context and evidence. And somehow that response is framed as him causing more harassment. That math is not mathing. Answering lies with proof is not bullying. It's self-defense in the digital world. He even explained how much this meant to him. He started streaming to 0 viewers, slowly built it up to 50. For small creators, that's not nothing. That's grind mode. He finally gets accepted into a group that could open doors, and almost immediately he's pressured to stay quiet or risk losing access. That's not community. That's leverage. And considering how closely Cece aligned herself with Luciyasa during the whole Kingsman situation, the pattern doesn't exactly feel random. Now look at the pattern. The main instigator throws the first punch, her circle rallies behind her, and somehow they flip it so he's the villain while they act like calm peacemakers. Then comes the real twist. He gets warned that if he keeps posting videos explaining his side, it could be labeled as harassment, and he might get kicked from the server. So the guy who was publicly misrepresented is now being threatened for defending himself. That's not mediation. That's basically telling someone to sit down, stay quiet, and let the narrative run wild, so the community vibes don't get disturbed. Peace at the cost of truth is not peace. It's pressure. And this didn't just blow over in a week. According to him, this dragged on for months. He kept quiet for a long stretch, didn't fully push back, tried to let it fade, but he says he lost opportunities during that time. And that part hits different. When someone with a bigger platform frames you a certain way, that label sticks. People don't dig for context. They don't scroll for clarification. They hear a tag and move on. Reputation moves fast online, and it doesn't always move fairly. Fast forward to January 2026. After months of explanations, screenshots, timelines, you would think maybe things cooled down. Maybe both sides moved on. But then a resurfaced VOD from January 22nd shows Luciyasa still calling him a Charlie Kirk sympathizer, still repeating the same narrative like nothing ever got addressed. And here's the timing. That stream happened literally a day after he posted a video laying out the entire timeline. The DMs, the accusations, the warnings, everything. Instead of saying maybe it's time to correct the record, she doubled down again. Then the VOD gets deleted. Predictable move. It's almost a routine at this point. Say something bold, get called out, delete the clip, hope it fades. Except this is the internet. Nothing really disappears. Somebody always records it. Somebody always clips it. Somewhere there's a folder labeled receipts ready to go. And sure enough, the VOD gets re-uploaded to another site. People start watching, then suddenly that site goes down too. Now it's just a 404 page like it never existed. And when content keeps vanishing in layers like that, it doesn't calm people down. It raises eyebrows. Because when things disappear right after being questioned, it doesn't look clean. It looks controlled. And once people sense that something is being managed behind the scenes, the suspicion grows louder than the original clip ever did. And while all of this was unfolding, people started bringing up an older controversy too. Luciyasa once compared supporting Kingsman to supporting Israel, and even her own viewers were confused by that take. The chat reaction alone said everything. It felt random, extreme, and way bigger than the situation at hand. When your own audience pauses like, wait, what?
Here you go. He's saying the year of being bothered by someone being killed for political opinions is wrong. And the political opinion is literally Zionism. He's okay. All right. And the political opinion is, I have a genuine question. Like, seriously, answer this. Even if you support Kingsman, whatever, support Kingsman like it's fucking Israel. Anyways, whatever you have in your head, I have a genuine question. Ready? I'm saying
that usually means something went off the rails. Instead of slowing down and directly addressing why that comparison upset people, she pivoted. She began talking about how much money she donated to Palestine, almost like it was a scoreboard. But donations are not debate armor. Giving money to a cause does not automatically cancel out criticism or make every take correct. It came across less like clarity and more like deflection. Rather than explaining the comparison or owning how it landed, she shifted the focus into a morality contest. That pattern keeps showing up. A strong public accusation, minimal private resolution, then surprise when everything spirals. But if you are going to label someone in a serious way, you need solid receipts, clear context, accurate framing. You cannot build a case off assumptions and chat energy, then act confused when the other person pushes back with proof. And this is exactly why smaller creators hesitate to speak. Situations like this send a message. Stay quiet and let the narrative define you, or defend yourself and risk being branded as the troublemaker. That pressure is real when platform size isn't equal. When everything exploded, most of the backlash initially hit Cece. She was already a bigger name at the time, especially in the rival scene and around Za Stacks. People still remembered her messy public moments involving her boyfriend Plunk, and that infamous Widow game, where she went 0 and 5 with 200 ping and refused to switch. Those moments had already shaped how viewers saw her, so the criticism stacked fast. Meanwhile, Luciyasa avoided a lot of the heat because she was the smaller streamer in the mix. But when you actually line up the screenshots and timeline, some would argue her actions cut deeper. Betraying someone mid-tournament, then publicly mocking them afterward, does not look accidental. That feels intentional, and when you combine that with the earlier accusations, the deleted clips, and the shifting narratives, it starts painting a picture that's hard to ignore. Before the tournament even kicked off, she and Kingsman were close. Not just casual teammates, but tight. They were running ranked together, moving like a duo, giving best friend energy on stream. Then right in the middle of the tournament, she flipped. Out of nowhere, she switched sides for a group of girls she barely even knew. It felt sudden, it felt strategic, and a lot of people watching clocked it immediately. Viewers did not let that slide. The timing made it look messy. 1 minute it's loyalty and teamwork, the next minute it's distance and public shade. That kind of switch up mid-competition raises eyebrows fast, especially when real money and reputations are on the line. Then she starts a stream in sub-only mode with the title, "I Need This. I'm Kind of Homeless." That choice did not go unnoticed. The optics were loud. It didn't feel like a quiet, sincere moment. It felt like drama being monetized. When you lock chat behind subscriptions during controversy, people are going to question the motive. Was it about support, or was it about capitalizing on the attention spike? And then came the comparison that really set everything off. She tied a Twitch tournament situation to real-world geopolitical conflict. Chat was stunned. People immediately called out how extreme and disconnected that analogy was. Comparing a college kid trying to win a $40,000 tournament to global war issues is not just dramatic, it's tone-deaf. The scale does not match. The weight of those topics is nowhere near the same lane. Viewers roasted the take hard, and honestly, it wasn't surprising. The internet can be ruthless, but in this case, the criticism was about the logic. The comparison felt reckless. Instead of stepping back and saying that went too far, she pivoted again. She claimed people were just blindly siding against her, like it was all bias and no substance. She tried to reframe it as some exaggerated metaphor about support, like she was just talking about backing one player over another.
It was just like in bad taste. But at the end of the day, you're like, guys, I am a Lebanese Arab. Like, I have 100% donated more. I even had, what do you call it? Not that this is an excuse, but I'm saying I have definitely donated more than all of you guys combined. It's the Palestinians. I literally have family there. I don't know really what, yeah. Anyways, regardless, let me see if there's anything else. Did he reach out to you?
Uses me for making these videos defending myself for money. I told her I'm happy to talk about the issue, but it's a crazy statement to imply I'm doing.
But that explanation didn't clean it up. It still sounded scattered. Once a comparison that heavy leaves your mouth, you can't just water it down and expect everyone to forget how it landed. And then older messages started resurfacing. Past friends, former gaming buddies. Kitty Ken even posted that they had been warned about Luciyasa's behavior long before this tournament drama popped off. When past connections start echoing similar concerns, it adds another layer. At that point, it stops looking like one isolated incident and starts looking like a pattern people were already whispering about behind the scenes. She and her friends kept defending Zaza in a way that honestly did not add up. In a high-stakes tournament, if a teammate is struggling badly, it is normal to suggest a swap or adjust strategy. That is not bullying, that is competition. When money and rankings are on the line, performance matters. But instead of addressing the gameplay issues, she acted like the better move was to protect Zaza's feelings and pretend everything was fine while the team kept losing rounds. That mindset felt disconnected from reality. You cannot fix a sinking ship by complimenting the leak. The more they avoided the obvious problem, the worse it looked. And when she later tried to smooth things over, the apology felt weak because it never really addressed the core issue. The real conversation was about performance and team decisions, but they kept spinning it into something personal. Let's be honest about what people noticed. Zaza was clearly struggling in that tournament. Viewers saw it. The scoreboard showed it. Instead of being direct about that, they wrapped it in soft language and excuses. The explanation they pushed did not fully match what was happening on screen, and many people felt the only reason Kingsman was not fully backed was because he was the only man in that situation. That perception grew fast online, and it almost looked like they would rather risk thousands of dollars than risk awkward tension. But competitive spaces are not built on comfort. If someone cannot handle being told they need to adjust or step aside for the team, maybe that level of competition is not the right fit. That is not cruelty, that is standards. When she tried to frame it as taking responsibility, it felt surface level. She asked if Kingsman was okay, but in the same breath reminded him she told him to hush earlier. That is not exactly supportive energy. When he pointed out he did not believe he had done anything wrong and planned to post a video explaining himself, she pushed back, saying it was not fair to claim he was innocent because she could hear him getting upset. The reasoning jumped around. The blame kept shifting. The accountability never fully landed, and when she finally said sorry, it became clear she was apologizing for how things looked, not necessarily for the decisions that caused the fallout in the first place. She says she's sorry that Kingsman got kicked. Notice the wording. Not sorry for her role in how things escalated. Not sorry for decisions that may have contributed to the fallout. Just sorry that he got kicked like it was some random event that happened in the background. There's a difference between apologizing for an outcome and apologizing for your part in creating it. She never fully connects herself to the chain reaction. Right after that apology, she shifts into emotional justification. She talks about how excited she was to be on the same team, how much it meant to her. That may be true, but it also feels like a way to soften the narrative. It's a classic move. Sprinkle in a little accountability, then immediately cushion it with feelings so the spotlight moves away from responsibility. If she had handled it with full transparency from the start, maybe the reaction would have been different. Instead, it feels like she's trying to reset the vibe without actually addressing the damage. The apology protects her ego. It keeps her image intact. It avoids directly saying, "I made the wrong call." That missing sentence is what people are stuck on. She insists she never wanted Kingsman kicked, but there's an older clip floating around from a previous stream, either during the tournament or right after, where she basically sounds fine with the outcome. She frames it like she's analyzing the situation from the host's perspective. Calm tone, detached logic, but the way it lands feels cold.
And support Kingsman like it's supporting Israel. It was like, I was saying the thing of like support, not specifically you supporting Kingsman is supporting Israel. It was the statement of support Kingsman or support Zaza. It's just, I thought saying like supporting this is just like justify the moronic comparison, but I didn't compare. I think you guys are ignoring that. I didn't compare supporting Kingsman to supporting Israel. I didn't, I guess it does sound like I said that, but honestly, I didn't mean to make it come off like that. I just didn't like I support Zaza, I support Kingsman. I didn't like the picking sides. I thought it was silly.
In that clip, she mentions how Bassam, the tournament host, had big names lined up like Moxie and Mark Desi. The implication is clear. When high-profile players are involved, the host will prioritize smooth energy. If someone seems pushy or argumentative, they could be replaced to keep things stable. She uses that reasoning to justify the decision, suggesting Kingsman's insistence about Zaza swapping characters made him expendable. She paints it as if he was harassing the team. But when you actually watch what happened, that description feels exaggerated. Kingsman was asking for a character swap because Zaza was underperforming in a high-stakes match. That's not harassment, that's competitive strategy. In serious tournaments, adjustments are normal. Calling that behavior toxic stretches the definition. And once people saw the clips side by side, the gap between her framing and the reality became hard to ignore. He was told to stop bringing it up multiple times, and even then, he tried to keep it professional. He wasn't yelling, he wasn't insulting anyone. He was repeating a competitive suggestion because the stakes were high, and the results were not there. On top of that, Zaza had already said she was comfortable playing multiple characters, so Kingsman suggesting a swap was not random or disrespectful. It was based on what she herself claimed she could do. The idea that someone could be removed from a tournament just for pushing a strategic adjustment sounds extreme. Her explanation tries to smooth it over by rearranging the details. On the surface, it sounds logical. She talks about team harmony, tone, timing. But once you line it up with the actual clips, the reasoning starts to wobble. Kingsman was not pushing for ego. He was pushing for results. When performance is slipping in a competitive setting, teammates talk about it. That is normal. Framing that as grounds for removal stretches the story. This is where the pattern becomes clearer. The situation gets reframed in a way that makes her stance look calm and rational, while his actions look disruptive. Right after the tournament, she openly agreed with the decision to kick him. She said the organizer made the right call given the circumstances. There was no hesitation in that moment, no heavy regret. It sounded settled. Then comes the deleted VOD that people re-uploaded and reviewed. Suddenly, the tone shifts. Now she claims she never wanted him kicked. Now she says she would have defended him if she had known how it would unfold. Now she presents herself as someone who would have voted against the decision if she had the power. That switch is hard to ignore. At one point, she supports the organizer's call without sugarcoating it. Later, after backlash builds, she positions herself as if she was quietly loyal all along. Those two versions do not align. Once criticism started stacking up, the messaging softened. Apologies appeared, responsibility became vague. The narrative shifted from "it made sense" to "I wasn't responsible." And when the story keeps evolving like that, people start comparing timestamps instead of taking words at face value. Then later in that same VOD, she switches lanes again. Now she's criticizing Bassam, the tournament host, saying he made the wrong call by kicking Kingsman. She claims he changed his mind and that Kingsman should not have been banned in the first place. So first, the decision made sense, then it didn't. The position keeps moving depending on the moment. What stands out is that Bassam is actually the only person who openly apologized for his role in the situation. He admitted mistakes. He acknowledged that things could have been handled better. Whether people agree with him or not, he stepped up and owned his part as the organizer.
The things about Bassam out there that, hey, if you want to look into it, look into it. But there's other shit on Bassam out there. And Bassam, if you're in here, bro, you are the biggest sellout of all time. You kick Kingsman out, and then you don't even properly fucking clear shit up. And you scream and shout for the Kingsman fans to all just be on your side because you switch sides because you don't want hate. You don't want heat, which is fine. But it's just,
who the fuck wants hate? Who the fuck wants fucking heat? Explain to me one person who wants hate. Tell me that for 1 second. But you know how you avoid that? You take accountability for your fucking actions.
That matters. And how does she respond? By calling him the biggest loser ever. That's aimed at someone who already took responsibility. At the same time, she's frustrated about negative comments popping up in her own chat. It's a strange contrast. You can't demand grace while throwing labels at someone who admitted fault. Bassam even reacted to the clip and calmly pointed out that she might need to reflect on her own actions instead of constantly shifting the blame. He did not escalate it. He did not start name-calling. He just emphasized accountability. That tone difference is noticeable. What makes it more confusing is how often she frames herself as the victim in all this. Meanwhile, Bassam, who also received backlash, addressed it directly. He explained his reasoning as host. He admitted where things went sideways. He did not twist the timeline or try to repaint himself as flawless. He kept it measured. He stayed calm while others kept reigniting the fire. And he did not bite on every provocation thrown his way. In contrast, the drama around Luciyasa and her circle kept growing because accusations, deflections, and deleted clips stacked up. Some people online have started calling for serious consequences, even mentioning blacklists from competitive spaces. That reaction comes from frustration. When viewers feel like someone's reputation was damaged unfairly, they want to see a clear line drawn, not for spectacle, not for hype, just for fairness. At the end of the day, this is not about trends or cancel waves. It is about consistency. If you publicly accuse, you need proof. If you make a mistake, you own it. When that standard is applied unevenly, people notice. And that's why this entire situation keeps resurfacing instead of fading away. People are starting to notice the pattern. Miss Sandry is not being subtle about it either. It is loud, it is obvious, and the internet is dissecting every clip, every contradiction, every deleted VOD. The hypocrisy gets pointed out in real time. The aggression, the selective outrage, the petty targeting. It feels messy and chaotic, like what happens when ego mixes with a personal grudge and gets broadcast live. A lot of viewers are simply tired. They have watched months of accusations, silence, deflections, and narrative flips. Now they want accountability, not vague apologies, not half steps, real accountability. Some people online are even fantasizing about extreme consequences, like career collapse and clout disappearing overnight. That reaction says more about built-up frustration than anything else. When audiences feel ignored for too long, the backlash turns emotional. This whole saga has become more than just commentary. For some, it feels like release. Watching someone repeatedly avoid responsibility while others take the fall builds tension. The touchgrass jokes, the sarcastic memes, the dramatic reactions, they are all symptoms of people feeling like they have been watching the same cycle repeat without resolution. Internet fame does not automatically come with maturity, and what people are reacting to now is the gap between influence and responsibility. When someone can delete clips, ignore DMs, and move on without addressing the root issue, it creates resentment. Screens make it easy to hide, but screenshots last forever. And here is the contrast that keeps hitting. The guy who got labeled and dragged through all of this comes across as regular, just someone gaming, trying to grow, trying to have fun. Not perfect, not dramatic, just normal. That normal energy makes the chaos around him feel even more unfair. Months of harassment, whispers, and damage to his name over something that started with a misrepresentation. That is why people are heated. The mood online has turned sharp, not just disappointed, sharp. When someone keeps doubling down instead of correcting the record, the patience runs out. At this point, it is not even about politics, teams, or Discord servers. It is about a simple rule. If you make a serious claim about someone publicly, you better be certain. And if you get it wrong, you correct it clearly. The internet has a long memory and a deep archive. Receipts always resurface. And that is exactly what happened here. The timeline came back around, the clips reappeared, the contradictions got compared side by side. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this was just messy tournament drama that spiraled too far, or does it show a bigger pattern of avoiding responsibility? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you made it this far, subscribe to the BeyondFame channel, share this with someone who's been following the situation, and I'll catch you in the next one.